It is a time in society when people are breaking from stereotypes and treasuring their individuality.
Today's world of utter chaos needs actual messages of integrity and harmony, and it doesn't have to suck.
What civilization is 6 billion people trying to make themselves happy by standing on each other's shoulders and kicking each other's teeth in. It's not a pleasant situation, and yet you can stand back and look at this planet and see that we have the money, the power, the medical understanding, the scientific know-how, the love, and the community to produce the kind of human paradise. But we are led by the least among us, the least intelligent, the least noble, the least visionary. We are led by the least among us, and we do not fight back against the dehumanizing values that are handed down as control icons. This is something, I don't really want to get off on this tear because it's the lecture in itself, but culture is not your friend. Culture is for other people's convenience and the convenience of various institutions, churches, companies, tax collection schemes, what have you. It is not your friend. It insults you. It disempowers you. It uses and abuses you. None of us are well treated by culture. And yet we glorify, the creative potential of the individual, the rights of the individual. We understand the felt presence of experience is what is most important. But the culture is a perversion. It fetishizes objects, creates consumer mania. It preaches endless forms of false happiness, endless forms of false understanding in the form of swirly religions and silly cults. It invites people to diminish themselves and dehumanize themselves by behaving like machines.
He was the man of the house when I couldn't be.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Path Diem Episode 3, available on CharlieHodShow.com, coming soon to Tasty Podcasts. I'm your host, John Tole, here coming to you from the 4256 production studio in Austin, Texas. We got a lot on deck. We've got guests. We've got space news. We've got porn news. And let's start off. Let's go to Florida. You're going on a high note. Man accidentally shot self in road rage incident, Orlando police say. Well, what are you going to do? Authorities say a man accidentally shot himself Monday in a road rage incident on Interstate 4. Imagine you're just fucking driving around. Someone flashes a gun at you. You're like, yeah, well, you know what? You fucking stand in your ground in your car way over there. Well, I'm standing my ground in my car over here. You got it. Oh, you're showing me your gun? I'll show you my gun. And when I put it down, bammo, right in the leg. Orlando police said officers responded to a call of a shooting at the ramp at I-4 and Princeton Street around 11 a.m. Video showed crime scene tape roping off a car while on the roadway. According to the driver, he was traveling on I-4 when another driver showed a gun and what he told police was a road rage incident. The victim, identified as 36-year-old Richard Coles, said during the altercation he accidentally shot himself in the leg, taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, probably given a ticket. You know what? Don't travel with guns. Let that be a lesson to you. I know guns it's a hot button issue here in America, and look, you got your side, and I understand. But maybe you leave it home. Maybe it's for the castle defense. Maybe the car is not an extension of your home. Maybe if you could drive your home around like an asshole, you'd have an argument. But hey, it's Florida. Is anyone surprised? That story brought to you. ClickOrlando.com. And anytime you're going on a Florida website, a news Florida website, they're going to say, well, what else? What else? If you were drawn in by road rage, what else would you want to? Carjacker abandons a baby toddler? Well, of course. What about one killed in Altamonte Springs shooting? What about cop shoots, kills dog near toddler? Florida, I am loving you. Or how about this one? Teen kicked out of school for porn role. Florida student kicked out of school for performing in porn. I wonder if the fucking chick. 18-year-old says his work. No, I don't want to. 18-year-old says his work was legal, did not disrupt the school. Well, I love disrupt, just like disrupt the illusion. Let's get into this.
Well, you know, Lisa, Robert Marucci makes no apologies for performing in porn. He considers it a career like any other. But a little over a week ago, he says that other fellow students here discovered his performance and then started sharing his pictures with each other on their phones. Now, he is getting in trouble, and he says the school here wants him gone.
Wait a minute. So first of all, you're lucky. All right, you got a dick big enough, you get to be in porn. You know, you're making your money. I'm sure you did it as for a noble cause. I'm sure somebody had bills to pay. You know, you're not just running around going, I'm going to be the next Peter North. You know, I'm sure this kid did it for good reasons. He's 18 years old. He's an adult. Are you allowed to be in a porno, you know, and boy, the next thing, well, you show up to school on a Monday and everyone's got the phone and they're giving you the point. They're wondering why your jeans are so tight.
I feel like I've been treated unfairly and this is unjust.
Until 2 weeks ago, 18-year-old Robert Marucci was just like any high school senior.
First of all, unjust. Back it off a little bit on the hyperbole. How about that, kid?
But when fellow students discovered his pictures and videos on this adult website, he says he became the target of bullies and then kicked out of school.
Boom. Booted right out of school. They said students showed up to a protest to get this kid back in. Everybody gets involved in this story, even the kid's mom.
He was bullied. He was threatened.
His mom knew he worked in porn and says he did it to support her.
I think he's the most awesome person in the world. He stood up and he was the man of the house when I couldn't be.
Yeah, Mom? Remember when you were on TV saying you were a fucking man? Maybe that's why I'm doing porn. Maybe because shit didn't work out. Maybe if you weren't trying to be the man of the house and going out and learning how to S the D so we could get a stepdad back in the house. How about that, Mom? No, I'm sure that the kid's not this kind of a kid. Yeah, makes no apologies for performing in porn and considers his work like any other job. Until 2 weeks ago, the 18-year-old was like any other high school student. Boom. I don't know. You know, his mother. Now, see, he was threatened. All right. Those words spread about his explicit pictures. Mariucci said administrators expelled him, saying there was a major disruption. In a referral slip, administrators wrote he threatened to bring weapons to school, something he denies. I'll bring a weapon. I'm going to bring this 9-inch weapon your way. His mother believes the alleged threats were not the reason behind his punishment. Despite the allegations of threats, Lieb said the principal told her he was expelled due to his explicit lifestyle career. Well, don't we all just have explicit? I'm not a comedian. I have an explicit lifestyle career. I think it's Dr. Sullivan's morals and her personal beliefs, and I don't think this is anybody's business except for my son, the mother says. The children at the school found the porn, and she didn't do anything to stop it. They did, they said a dozen students, they were part of a walkout. The family wants an apology for the school. They say, Mario, she's a good student, never got in trouble, and they want him to graduate in May. Kentucky bill would let service monkeys help paralyzed people. Well, could you imagine? Not only are you paralyzed, you live in Kentucky. Kentucky legislators may soon debate whether to allow service monkeys to assist paralyzed adults with simple household. What, you got a gorilla in your house and it's chewing your... How many more stories do we need of people with their faces getting chewed the fuck off? The measure would restrict monkeys to in-home use and would not allow them to assist their owners in public. All right, we're keeping this. We're keeping Bobo the fucking the shit thrower at home. Monkeys do not belong in human homes, whether as pets or service animals, said Sarah Bakler Davis. You're out with the middle name. Executive Director of the North American Primate Sanctuary Alliance, also known as NAPSA. I just made that up. She said the monkeys are wild animals. They need to socialize with their own kind. Private situations simply do not meet these needs and creates a significant public safety concern. Monkeys are not domesticated animals, she said. They cannot be made so in one generation or 20. Their rescue centers home to more than 50 unwanted monkeys or apes. Boy, how many faces are being eaten over there? I mean, and like, that's the thing. Once something bad happens like that, it's the same the monkey tearing off somebody's face is the same alligator and getting flushed down the toilet. Next thing you know, it's taken over the world. I don't know that that's the thing. Capuchin monkeys are small, reaching only 6 to 8 pounds in adult. All right, even a 6-8 pound monkey can break your fucking back, can just pick you up and snap you like somebody that does not agree with your politics. Former track star Carl Lewis, of all people, has a gripe with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. This guy's fucking stepping in it. Lewis said Monday that back in 2011, he considered running for state senator position. Christie attempted to persuade him otherwise. From the New York Daily News, Lewis said Monday the government called to dissuade him from running as a Democrat. Lewis says he was told the fitness program that he'd been developing would materialize. You fucking run against me. These kids doing sit-ups, they're never going to do a fucking sit-up in your life. And you sit down with your bad inability to sing the fucking anthem and let me eat this bacon and run this fucking state. Lewis ended up dropping from the race after not meeting all the requirements, so the threat was meaningless. Still amusing, given Christie's current situation. The government's currently dealing with the aftermath of someone in his administration closing part of the George Washington Bridge and backing up traffic for hours. Coming up next on Path Diem. All right. I'll take my medicine, my lumps. I know it's a sportsman podcast, and the Pats, they didn't do it. I was in Oklahoma City this week. Last week working at the Looney Bin. I was doing the OKC podcast on the day of the game. And just checked in the score sporadically. Saw at one point we were down like 16-3 or 20-3. I said, "This is over." And it's like Charles Barkley said in the last episode, we're fucking spoiled, and we are. And there's some controversy, of course. The guy I love the controversy right now with the fucking Sherman and Crabtree screaming at each other. That dude breaking down some WWE style promos getting cut. I'm always going to go to probably the greatest coach in the history of coaching, in the history of motivating human beings for athletic achievement. Bill Belichick weighs in the morning after the loss at the press conference at Gillette Stadium. Take it away, Bill.
I was asked about the hit on Talib, and I feel bad really for Aqib. The way that play turned out, I went back and watched it, which I didn't have a chance to do yesterday. I think it's a deliberate play by the receiver to take out Aqib. No attempt to get open. And I'll let the league handle the discipline on that play.
Bill, you know what? How about some coffee? How about I understand we didn't play well. You got to stand there. You got to listen to these slack jaws ask you these dumb questions about how you're the greatest motivator in the history of mankind. And, not really like him to break out inside of a press conference and call out a player. Patriots coach Bill Belichick called Wes Welker's collision Sunday with New England cornerback Aqib Talib one of the worst plays I've seen. A sharp critique of the actions of one of his former. Dude, that's the thing. When you're with us, you love us, you leave us, go fuck yourself. I don't care who you are. If you're Clemens, if you're Boggs, the only people who got to leave, Ray Bork got to leave, and he won the cup with the Avalanche, and then he brought it back. Belichick's criticism was unprovoked, part of the coach's opening remarks, and stands as stinging commentary from a man who usually limits what he provides in a public forum. It was a deliberate play by a receiver to take out Talib. No attempt to get open. I'll let the league handle it. The play that will be talked about now for years to come occurred in the second quarter Sunday with the Broncos in the early portions of a drive that put them up 10-0. Welker streaked across the middle, smacked into the crossing Talib, who left with a knee injury. I watched it. I've watched the breakdowns of the play. I've seen still photos. To me, I'm going cheap shot. I'm going to go, hey, as far as that goes, that was bullshit, and I'll be the guy calling it, you know? Chinese come out against sexual change therapy. A lot of stories coming out about the Olympics and how gay and lesbian athletes would be treated. Are the Chinese any different than the Russians? A wire connected to his genitals. A Chinese man says doctors administered repeated electric shocks as he watched a pornographic film, part of a treatment he hoped would eliminate his sexual attraction to men. But how many times did he ask him to put the diode back on his dingus? Yeah, I don't think that's a good fit. Can you go just adjust that again? Can you keep adjusting? Can you rewind the film and readjust this? I thought I'd try and see if there's a chance I become a normal person. Jesus, is that where we are in the world? Said the 25-year-old who asked to be identified only by his surname, Zhang. Fuck yeah, you zanged it up. I didn't want to cause my family trouble or disappoint them. His treatment shows the extreme end of a lucrative industry in China, claiming to quote-unquote correct the sexualities of gay men and lesbians who often face tremendous social pressures to live as heterosexuals. Boy, not only is the smog so bad in China that they have to show TVs of the setting sun so you can realize that it's there, but the sun sets also on being able to S the D if you want. Look, you're into dudes, get into fucking dudes. This guy says, no, I can't. Life's too hard in China if you're a gay dude. And you know what? I'm going to sign up. I'm going to put my dick in this machine. I'm watching this video, and if it gets hard, I'm getting a shock. It wasn't a massive shock, but it was painful. China officially classed homosexuality as a mental disorder as recently as 2001. Although some attitudes, especially in larger cities, have become more tolerant in recent years. Nonetheless, gay men and lesbians in China who are often only children still have to deal with their parents' expectations of marriage and children. Quote-unquote conversion therapy, as it's sometimes known, has more than a century of history around the world, but has fallen out of favor. So the people have been doing this for a long time. He was treated 3 years ago, but 5 clinics reported last month claimed to offer sexuality adjustment through various means, some including hypnosis. Well, hypnosis, I know for a fact that hypnosis works. I know for a fact that if you're able to tap into your subconscious, you can implant in ideas. You can, I don't know that you can undermine your sexuality, but you can definitely, it's definitely great for, it's a motivating thing, and it's great for quitting smoking. It's great for dieting. You just got to find a competent professional. The Haming Psychological Consulting Center in Beijing touts the use of electricity on its website, saying, quote unquote, after each shock, the person will quickly interrupt their thought and separate from their fantasies. Oh, it's an Aldo Nova. A member of the staff at the hospital said that the shock treatment in 30-minute sessions every few days was used only in extreme. So if you're fucking bonering it up and you can't bonering, what's your price for flight? California banned the practice, often linked to Christian groups who view homosexuality a sin for minors last year. Geez, so just last year, we're no better. We are fucking no better than the Chinese. And you know what? We're all human beings, and we're all evolving in our own way. And what are you going to do? Look, and these poor people, they need to have lives. They need to make money. They need to not lose face with their family. What about Li Wai, 21, a salesman in the southern province of Guangdong? Fuck yeah, you're a gay dude from Guangdong. Said, I have a lot of friends who received the treatment and has made some of them nervous wrecks. Well, yeah, no one wants a nervous guy down below. He visited a hospital last month to ask about treatment under pressure from his father. He said, and a doctor told him his sexuality could be changed if I made a decision to break up with my partner and dedicate myself to the method. Well, the method to the madness. He said, look, I can't do this. Wrap this band around my hand to hurt myself. Wait a minute. The physician told Lou to watch films, and when I fantasize, used an elastic band around. So Isn't this just the lock on the refrigerator of your sexuality? Even the doctor admitted the success rate was very low. So maybe these are just on the fencers. If you're on the fence, maybe you just buy and you're into the shock treatment. I was suffering from headaches. I couldn't stand it. I wanted to die. I wanted to stop. Those are just quotes from my girlfriend Dena. But ultimately, he accepted that his sexuality could not be changed, and he came out to his father, Dad, by the way, I'm Chinese and I'm gay. Later, I thought about my whole life. I was like this from a young age. He said, being gay isn't a terrible thing, I think. Well, you got to hedge your bets when you're in the Chinese media. One wrong slip of the tongue, and you're going to be run over by a tank with a sign on it. Brains of elderly slow down because they know so much. I know so much, but I know I have dementia. Older people do not decline mentally with age. It takes them longer to recall facts because they have more information in their brain. Scientists believe, much like a computer struggles as a hard drive gets full up, so do humans take longer to access information. It's been suggested. The human brain works slower in old age, but only because we have stored more information over time. The brains of older people do not get weak. On the contrary, they simply know. Now, is this just a science thing where we have to sit around and kiss these old people's ass and say that, you know what, I'm getting older. I forget shit all the time. I just have to leave myself notes. My eyes are going fucked. I'll tell you what's good, though. Even though I'm a heavier dude, the knees are great. The hips are great. Sometimes my shoulders fall asleep when I go for a walk. I think it's too much salt. A team at a university in Germany programmed a computer to read a certain amount each day and learn new words and commands. And then they let the researchers let a computer read only so much and perform a cognitive tests resembled that of a young adult. If the same computer was exposed to experiences we might encounter over a lifetime with reading simulated over decades, its performance now looked like that of an older adult. I don't know. Maybe there's something to it. That's why I've stopped reading. No, I fucking read like a fiend. I'll tell you one thing, and I'm going to be the guy. I'll tell you right now, turn off your fucking television and go read a book. Go outside and read a book. I'm talking to maybe you're struggling with a little bit of depression. Maybe you're in your cubicle and you're looking around and you're like, God, I don't have a holiday. Well, we just had MLK Day and I'm stuck here. You're looking at the calendar and you're like, well, I think I have a President's Day coming off maybe. But then, and then maybe something's going to happen in February, but I'm stuck in this cube, man. Look, I don't even want to be here. How much more home decorations can I make this place feel like not home? I have people walking behind me because they don't trust that I'm going to be able to work. I don't know. And so now, what are you going to do? I lost my place. I was talking about elderly. And now here I am, unable to lock myself back onto the story. A cognitive test called Paired Associated Learning invites people to remember a pair of words that are unrelated, like necktie and cracker. Well, what are you going to do? Studies have shown that young people are better at this test, but scientists think that older people struggle to remember nonsense pairs like necktie and cracker because they've learned that they never go together. You know, the brain does take millions to trillions to quadrillion bits of information with every breath, with every second. The brain takes 80% of what it takes in full stimulus, and this is every bit of your awareness, every one of your faculties in your peripheral vision, your whole 180-degree ability to take shit in. 80% of what it takes in, it just immediately throws away. You don't need it. Half of what you do bring in, your mind tells you a lie about, and then it lies to you about your past. We went last night and saw the movie Her, starring Joaquin Rivers, Cuomo, Phoenix. You know what? And the guy kicked ass on that movie. I didn't know what to think. I had heard, I had watched the previews and they said, oh, the guy falls in love with his phone. I said, meh. But I heard feedback that said that the movie was actually great, that the trailer had been dumbed down to get people to go see it, and there was an Alan Watts drop in the movie. There was some solid, and Dena's looking over at me like, it's everything you talk about in your life, that all of this is just and it is, man. We're running programs. The programs are our emotions. The emotions determine the way we face our life, and how we face our life determines the life that we get through the decisions that we make. The decisions being your physical choices in life and how you feel about those choices and the feelings you have about your feelings, and on and on and on and on. If you live in your past, you're going to be fucking depressed. So look, if you're going to go into your memories, then choose to go into the great memories. Choose to go into memories that are going to say, hey, get off your ass and get something done, all right? Don't just sit there and click on Reddit because you want to see every what the fuck picture or every cute cat. Go out. If you've wanted to start a project, go start it. If you've wanted to start an exercise program, go start it. If you want to cover up the mirror in your cubicle, you want to go to the restroom, go to the bathroom, look yourself in the mirror, take some water, wipe your face down, go into your boss's office and tell him to go fuck yourself because you're starting anew. All right? This is 2014. We're not fucking around anymore. We're not fucking around anymore. All right? What's up next? Hey, nothing like a little space news action. Hey, let's get into it. Well, Rosetta, the Sleeping Beauty, wakes up from deep space hibernation. It was a fairy tale ending to a tense chapter in the story of the Rosetta space mission this evening as ESA heard from its distant spacecraft for the first time in 31 months. Operating on solar energy alone, Rosetta was placed into a deep space slumber. June 2011 as it cruised out to a distance of nearly 800 kilometers from the warmth of the sun beyond the orbit of Jupiter. Middle seat on the hump. How long is that fucking trip? This thing's been asleep for 31 months, and they flew this thing out because it's got to catch up with a comet. This is some Bruce Willis type shit. This is what we have people starving in America, and we're setting off this. What are we going to learn about this thing? After rendezvous, Rosetta will start with 2 months of extensive mapping of a comet's surface and will also make important measurements of the comet's gravity, mass, shape, and assess its gaseous, dust-laden atmosphere or coma. What? The orbiter will also probe the plasma environment, analyze how it interacts with the sun's outer atmosphere, the solar wind. Well, we're fucking learning today here on CPD. In fact, given the most negligible gravity of the comet's 4-kilometer wide nucleus, Philae will have to use ice screws and harpoons to stop it from rebounding back into space after touch. So they got to land this fucking rover on this comet. It's hurtling through space, and they're shooting harpoons and ice screws into this thing so it doesn't fly off. It's going to send back a panorama of its surroundings as well as high-res pics of the surface. Also perform on-the-spot analysis. You know, CNN's behind it. The focus of the mission will then move on to the escort phase, during which Rosetta will stay alongside the comet as it moves closer to the sun, monitoring the ever-changing conditions on the surface. As the comet warms up and its ices sublimate, the comet will reach its closest distance to the sun on 13 August 2015 at about 185 million kilometers, roughly between the orbits of Earth and Mars. Boy, I'm getting lost here. There's a lot going on. I don't know. I should have studied more. I should have. But I didn't. You know why? Because the only time I got good grades in science is when I had a hot science teacher. If you were a dude, I was getting a C-. If you were an uggo, I was getting a C. If you were a hot chick, proven junior college Chabot, hot teacher, learned my science, got an A. What is it about tits that makes me want to learn? Well, what are you going to do? You know, as we go along here on our space journey, all we can do is really just improve our lot in life. And something we try to do on Path Diem is expand our horizons. It's not just myself sitting inside of the 4256 production studio here. I got to get the space mind off. We're here joined on Path Diem with a couple guys that I do the other show with. Disrupt the illusion.
You made it sound like you do us.
You know what? You haven't even been introduced yet. This isn't like DTI where we can just talk over each other. You son of a bitch.
My bad.
Paulie Hendricks, author of Wake Up, The Enlightenment of a Misfit and Outlaw.
American Misfit and Outlaw.
American Misfit Outlaw. Available on Uncovery Press. Available on Amazon.com. Ray Combs Jr.
Hey.
The other host of Disrupt the Illusion, and you guys nice enough to come on into the studio and chop up some news. I know that Ray, you're definitely a news guy.
I like the news.
You're a news guy, and I'll tell you. Look, I don't know what you guys what your childhoods have been like in your world. All right, and what the crazy things that you might have done when your parents weren't home. Whatever you got into. But Rhode Island school warns parents about snorting Smarties, the candy. Possible nasal maggots.
Oh, my God. That
available on
sounds
cbslocal.com, on boston.com. Paul, Portsmouth, Rhode Island. Parents at one Rhode Island middle school have received a warning about students snorting a popular candy. The fuck out of here.
Sounds like
is
that would
really
burn.
going on?
That would
Whose
burn
idea?
so bad.
Whose idea is this?
I just want to say I had this idea for pixie sticks, but it makes no sense. It absolutely makes
Is that because
zero
the work has already been handled on the pixie stick?
It's done.
What do you do when you see a little kid got a little razor blade out cutting up a Smarties?
I keep driving by. It's not my neighborhood.
I can't. I mean, one kid does it, and all of a sudden, hey, that sounds like news.
In my opinion, this is something you don't send a warning about out. If this is dangerous,
the kids are gonna start thinking about it.
And if it could kill kids, these kids deserve to die. This is evolution.
Wow.
Is it quote unquote evolution? Have you ever smoked a banana peel? Have you ever licked a frog? Maybe you thought might have given you superpowers. Paul, you're a guy. You spent a lot of time in Hawaii. Was there any local flavor that you could pick up? Maybe some kind of oyster rock from deep in a cove, and you tickle an anemone on your balls. The next thing you know, you're tripping in space. Is that something that's a reality? Who are these kids? Or they're just finding? And Smarties of all candy. How happy are Smarties right now? Where they're getting so much press. If you look at the stock market, it's up.
I think it's a case of just like other news stories, guys.
Mistaken candy identity.
Yeah,
What's the case?
The same thing.
People getting punched in the face and all that stuff. They were using videos from like 10 years ago.
Knockout.
And stuff. I think they're trying to make something up, or maybe somebody's mad at Smarties. Maybe the news story here, the person writing it,
Pez is
has something.
pissed.
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking Pez family's behind this. Those Pez fucks.
Might be.
According to the CBS affiliate WPRI, your home for local news, parents of Portsmouth middle school students received a note from school officials on Thursday warning them to watch out for students snorting Smarties. School officials said a new trend is, quote, widespread phenomenon found on popular YouTube videos. So kids are going on YouTube. You know, forget about the fact that little Johnny can get porn. Forget about the fact that he can learn how to make napalm in a bathtub and he can look at some titties. But really, they're going to spend their time looking at Smartie videos. Is this happening in reality, Paul Hendricks?
Is
this fake?
It's not happening in my reality. No.
Okay.
The disappointing thing to me here about our society is that we are now teaching people to snort. There's cocaine out there. There's heroin.
There is cocaine out there.
There's methamphetamine. And
Smells great.
We're teaching them just to snort something that. What can that be like at best?
What
sweet.
is going on in our drug culture where they want this to be on the forefront of the gray matter of the collective unwashed?
Well, I mean, you can revert.
Well, that's kind of a dickish thing to say about humanity.
But think about.
They do need to
have
shower.
Have you seen the clips? I happen to be watching it. Me and
Total
my
Eclipse
lovely
of the
wife
Heart.
Of Nancy Grace talking about she has seen people on marijuana do.
Oh,
kill families, stab, strangle.
She's a C. She's the
woman-
biggest C in the
woman
history of
will
women.
show
Okay,
up.
but release it back to this statement right here. What
Release
are people
the
saying?
whale back into captivity.
Maybe it was just a slow news day.
You know
They had
what
to
though?
hey, I heard that my son goes to a school who's.
This woman will go to the graveside of anyone.
That is true. According to WPRI, your home for local news and weather, the note sent to parents via email explains the methods in which students have been ingesting the sugary candy, including smoking and snorting. School officials said snorting and or smoking the candy could cause nasal problems, infections, lung irritations, allergic reactions, and possible Maggots inside the nasal cavity.
I like that these people get all their information from school officials.
Yeah,
Like at some point, it should move on. You know?
And the
Isn't
school
it a
official didn't
Smartie?
even take the time to write a letter. They emailed those parents. That's a form email. That's an Evite because your kid's got maggot nose.
Aren't Smarties just sugar?
Yes. That's not my favorite thing to get. When you're done eating the chocolate in your Halloween bag, I'm going to the Smarties. I'm opening 6-7 packs at a time. I'm eating it down, and it's just a shock. It's like a crime scene in my mouth. The tastiest crime scene ever.
Not the first crime scene there.
How dare you, Paul? Let me tell you. Let me tell you about this.
I do want Smarties now, though.
Hey, now what? You got a hankering? Do you want to smoke it or do you want to snort it?
I'll probably smoke it.
Paul, this is going to be in the Ray Combs Jr. World News category. Obama, Al Qaeda is quote unquote JV, compares Al Qaeda to junior varsity team, putting on a Lakers jersey. Ray Combs Jr. In his New Yorker interview published over the weekend, President Obama stated that current Al Qaeda was quote unquote JV and said that his analogy was often used around the White House. The analogy we use around here sometimes, and I think it's accurate, is if a JV team puts on a Lakers uniform that doesn't make them Kobe Bryant. How pissed is Al Qaeda to be fucking compared to Kobe Bryant? Think about that.
There go the Olympics.
Well, I mean, they do both joy rape. Rape is big.
But
you think I'm joking, but
they're the JV of rape, though. They're not even the best rape. Where are we? In our collective military-industrial complex, where our enemy is JV, then why are we even fighting?
Well, let me say
why
this.
are we even fighting if we're?
Here's the big misconception. This is an Alex Jones thing.
This is not. This is on. It's on Truth Revolt. TruthRevolt.org.
I'm saying this is an Alex Jones thing. This idea that Al Qaeda is so terrible and everything. They suck. They don't have any funding. They have jack shit.
First off, what's wrong with JV? I played JV.
Yeah, me
in
too.
High school. What are you saying about JV?
There was nothing wrong with being 10th in the depth chart. You know.
Well, what's the problem?
I was
with
first
that?
in everybody's hearts.
I say go JV, go. You don't.
You would have had a deeper depth chart. There would have been more play going.
It's hard to start straight out on varsity. Sometimes you need some practice. Got to build up your skills.
I don't know. So is that? But now here's the thing. We used to have presidents making fucking speeches that mattered, and now it's a Kobe drop.
Okay.
It's a basketball jersey drop. It's Al Qaeda. These people
Michael,
supposedly using Saudi passports given to them by the CIA took down the towers using drone jets.
I like my presidents,
but that's
shook
the JV.
Our president's hand at the White House wearing a silk glove.
I like my president stooping Marilyn Monroe better.
You're right.
I know.
Elvis Presley stopped by on a day off and got into the White House, and they gave him a free FBI badge.
You
think this is any different?
All
right. The difference is media.
There could possibly be a road trip right there.
Ray, speaking of odd people doing odd thing, America's #1 prescription sleep aid could trigger quote-unquote zombies, murder, and other disturbing behavior. Ambien is becoming better known for triggering bizarre behavior than it is for treating insomnia. Now, Ray, as somebody with insomnia, somebody who has dealt with sleep issues, and somebody who has dealt with pharmaceuticals.
I've had this one.
You have been on this.
This is the one.
Have you been a zombie?
This is the one when I got married.
Do you smoke them or snort them?
No. When I got married, I took this medication, and I ended up.
Did you hide a bottle at the lagoon you were planning to kill yourself in?
I didn't have my
I
regular.
called back other shows.
You're
going to have to go to episode 29 of DTI to find that story.
I have had this exact effect. I have been on sleep medications for a number of years.
All right.
You said defect?
Effect of zombies, a zombie-like effect. Specifically, one of the big things they leave out is food. Is one of the biggest. Food and shopping.
Okay.
I joined Oprah's book club. I ordered. Is
that where you found
joke.
my book,
dude? It's not a joke. I joined her book club. I fucking ordered a medium bootleg female Oasis T-shirt, and I ordered twice. I ordered Indian food, enough for 4 people, and they answered the door like a Nazi soldier.
You say that you have to be that messed up to eat Indian food?
You're fucking... Are you serious?
Yeah.
From Ambien.
From Ambien.
Yeah.
Ambien mixed with booze?
No.
Or just Ambien on the Ambien?
Do you have any on you?
Dude, it's not good.
Why don't we do...
I would like to do some Ambien.
It's not good.
Look, I understand...
Don't be my judge.
I understand this is Cart Path Diem, and we're only handling this show on this show, But if from just an outside, like, let's take a break, we'll talk DTI. Let's do a DTI on Ambien.
I'd have to stay at someone's house. That's how
you're at someone's house.
You're at someone's house. You
got a pink couch you can lay right on.
Last time
fucking Momo, you wake up with the spray paint head.
The last time I did it was when I got married and I couldn't sleep, and it had been prescribed to me.
How long ago did you get married?
It's been 3 years.
You got married 3 years ago?
Yeah.
For those of you listeners, especially you Charlie Hodge Show listeners who are getting Path Diem on charliehodgeshow.com, Ray is a comedian. He's also the co-host of DTI. He was married 3 years ago in San Diego.
Yes. And I usually take a slew of psychotropic drugs, which are my normal thing.
What is your Bubba the Love Sponge would call that a rattler? What do you have in your
Lexapro, bupropion
every single day?
Yes. It's 2 drugs. But basically what it does is it allows me not to ruminate and I can sleep. Rumination is the continued thought of one thing. So instead of
what is it about
hanging. That's
what
I
is
think
it?
about.
No, I know. Okay.
That's the rumination.
Your father hung himself in a closet.
Yeah. Okay. So instead of thinking of that on my wedding night, I had left in a hurry and I had forgotten from New York City to San Diego, I'd forgotten my medications.
Sure.
So I contacted my physician, and because of stupid state protocols, the only one she could prescribe to me that was even help me was Ambien.
All right.
Which I am supposed to take and stay in bed.
Yeah.
Do not get up.
Don't pass.
Instead, you took one and got married.
And I got married.
Not the protocol.
I got married. I went back to the La Costa Resort.
Do you take her hand? Yeah, if it's got a pill in it.
No. I get back to the La Costa Resort. I take this medication, and within 10 minutes, I say, "You did what? I want a fucking divorce." I don't even remember what she said. I wanted a fucking
How long
divorce.
had you been married by the time you uttered you wanted a divorce?
3 hours. 3 hours, okay? Now we're back at a $500 a night room where fucking Oprah stays when she's in San Diego.
Well, you need a lot of space.
And I bolt out. I'm like, I'm fucking out of here.
Peace.
Later.
Life is a highway.
Yeah.
I'm driving it all night long.
I am so fucking delusional and zombie on this medication. I think I'm driving like this frog that's jumping on lily pads. And so I think that I'm going lily pad to lily pad. And I finally say to myself, this can't be real. And I get this thought from one of my friends, from a patient, a client that I had treated who was a cutter and who I came to remember if you cut, it is something that brings you back to reality.
Yes.
So I had a razor in my shaving kit and I picked it up and I cut myself, not like suicidal, but I cut myself just like with a stubby
not with one
razor.
Of those razors.
I cut myself just enough, just to like sting,
just enough.
And then it was like
just to know that I was there.
And then it was like, oh my
just enough
gosh!
to feel.
And next thing you know, I'm fucking back, and I'm like, this is so stupid. I talked to my wife; she's called the police, of course, because I've left some pseudo-suicidal messages.
Pseudo-suicidal.
What?
That's a great name for a band or a drug.
What's up? We're pseudo-suicidal.
And so anyways, I end up getting
We're not sure about it.
From Ypsilanti, Michigan.
I get it taken, arrested. Not arrested, but so I wasn't handcuffed. I get taken to the fucking hospital. I text John Tole from the hospital room where there's no bed. It's a mattress on a floor where I'm wearing breakaway clothes.
Hey, I was laying on the same thing.
Yeah. And I go, John, and I just texted him pictures of my arm. I go, wedding didn't go so good. And then they let me out an hour later. And the first time I ever heard these words, Mr. Combs, Mrs. Combs is here to get you, was then.
So can I come over after we're done recording this and get a couple Ambien from you?
Yes.
I would love to try.
I don't have Ambien anymore. I would never recommend it to anybody.
Ray, March 29, 2009, Robert Stewart, 45, stormed into a Pine Lake Health and Rehab nursing home in Carthage, North Carolina, and opened fire, killing 8 people and wounding 2. Stewart's apparent target was his estranged wife, who worked as a nurse in the home. She hid in the bathroom. You're always going to go to the bathroom. And was unharmed. Stewart was charged with 8 counts of first-degree murder. If convicted, he could face the death penalty. Even though there was evidence that Stewart's actions were premeditated, allegedly he had a target, Stewart's defense team successfully argued that since he was under the influence of Ambien, asleep at the time of the shooting, he was not in control of his actions. Instead of the charges sought by prosecutors, Stewart was convicted on 8 counts of second-degree murder. He received 142 to 179 years in prison.
Here's his craziest thing.
As a guy who you've been in the psychiatry. Now, if you were this,
I heard this story before.
If you were this guy and you get this verdict, are you? Yes, I'm guilty. Or no, I'm not.
This is only this. Well, the story I just told you was the fucking second time that shit had happened. The first time had been
on me.
I thought that my whole apartment had been taken apart, and put back together like set pieces.
Yeah, the fucking Illuminati.
And then
Wheel of Fortune.
And that my girlfriend
Episode
at
29.
the time was involved in it, in like this elaborate plot to like secretly move my bedroom.
You thought your life was the Truman Show.
It was
on
yeah,
Ambien.
exactly.
Oh my god!
And I believed
gotta
it
get some of
so
this.
much.
Yeah, I gotta fucking try
This
this
and
out.
some Smarties, and I'm having a weekend.
I believed it so much that I even called my mom and started crying and saying that there was a sheet floating above me, judging me, my own sheet. This is why I'm watching Iron Man on demand, and then crying like it was fucking crazy. And then once again, I ordered Indian food and walked like a Nazi to fucking get it. And like not like a Nazi,
walk like a Nazi,
but not like
That's not how that song
no, it
goes.
wasn't like the Nazi. I don't even know if it was
goose
Nazis.
step.
It was the first. It was the first
Like
World
the
War
Italians.
First World War One.
Oh, the
Germans.
Prussians. The Prussians.
Yeah.
Oh.
Archduke Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Never
I don't
get
know anything
to.
about
Nobody
this.
brings up the Prussians.
Ambien, a member of the class of medications known as
Xylopram.
hypnotics, was
Xylopram.
approved by the FDA in '92. Designed for short-term use to combat insomnia and was a welcome change from the prevailing sleep aid at the time, Halcyon, which has been implicated in psychosis, suicide, and addiction, has been banned in half a dozen countries. So the product they had before is doing the same thing that the product replacement
Surprising.
is now.
Oddly, now there's
Paul,
a
have you
bar
ever-
in Austin called
Paul,
Halcyon.
You don't strike me. It's a great place. You don't strike me as the type of person to take medication unless it's recreationally because you want to.
This is
see what
not
it's
an
like.
enjoyable thing.
That's generally true.
It's not.
I've hurt my back before I took pain pills, but that's actually how I discovered the magic of Vicodin.
I would
Now,
say
have you? Because I don't have any problem sleeping, and I don't know what it is. I shut my eyes and I take a deep breath and I'm gone. And I don't know if it's because I'm making healthier. I'm not making healthier choices. There's just something about I feel good about what's going on in my life, and I'm able to hit the pillow and go right the fuck to bed.
I sleep well as well.
Well, the last thing my dad ever took before he slept was Ambien.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a real thing. Well, then I guess then as far as this goes,
I'd like an Ambien.
I guess it's real. I guess in the end
It is totally real. I've experienced. I could never judge anybody for that.
we're gonna stay in the same website. Paul, this is right up your alley. The 8 Habits of Intolerant People, available on alternate.org, written by Mark Goulston. All right. He says, yes,
Intolerant.
8 Habits of Intolerant People. A psychotherapist makes some observations about people who are quick to anger, resentful, and intolerant of others. Paul, number 1, they are often fanatical.
That's true. We talk often on the other show. We've talked about dogma and how people, if it gives them something to cling to.
They don't just believe in something deeply, they believe in something narrowly without room for other interpretations. They believe their view is the only view, and anything even slightly different is wrong and is the enemy. There is a difference between being devout, which you deeply believe in something, and being a fanatic, in which you're on attack against those who don't agree or just see things differently from you.
Sure.
That's something I know
Westboro
that
Baptist Church.
Do you ever catch yourself sometimes involved in a thought situation where you're dipping your toe into the pond of this reality?
Yeah, there's times. Hanging out with you two, for instance, when people.
Hey, what does that mean? What a dick!
If you challenge something, like we all. It's actually a funny story. A friend of mine wrote an article about this, about how when you're trying to break free from labels, oftentimes you just grab some other label. You still have to be right about something. You still have a belief system about something. So I can catch myself sometimes.
Who wants to listen to a bunch of wrong people?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Miss Pelosi, keep speaking.
So if people still challenge that, sometimes initially I'll have that reaction of, oh, they don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
But then sometimes I'm getting much more open-minded. So there are people that position an idea that makes sense to me, that I feel. Then I can change my mind. But that's the opposite of that.
Sure.
Which is what you see in a lot of religious people that are fanatically religious, or
right. The next 4 traits: they are usually psychologically rigid, they are know-it-alls, they are terrible listeners, and they often have tension in their relationships.
Well, now you're talking about me directly. I don't know what's going on.
No, Paul, wait.
I got Dena on the phone.
Who do you see yourself at all in any of the 5, or have you seen yourself in all of the 5 at times here and there? Ray,
yeah, I would say so.
You find yourself in a situation where you have a pregnant wife.
Yes.
You've got your second child on the way. She's reacting to the hormones surging through her
She
body
hates the cutting
in a way that's uncontrollable, and you are navigating that.
You want to know what I do?
Yes.
I think this is excellent philosophy, and I think it actually, when you get to the end of it, any philosophy, I surrender.
You surrender.
I give up.
But don't give yourself away.
Just like Cheap Trick did.
I don't try to
Your mom's all right.
win. When you stop, when
Daddy's
you stop,
all right.
when you stop
You
trying,
just seem a little weird.
when you stop trying to be whatever it is, like, okay, one of the things, like, I have a pregnant wife.
I pulled my Kiss records out.
And a teen kid.
He just disrupted. He just disrupted the thought process.
No, it was like I was like listening. I
thought we were going to get through the whole song.
No,
in my mind, I had Cheap Trick. And I was like,
it's that multi-guitar player guy.
Is it really? Are we all terrible listeners? Really? I think sometimes I think we're finding ourselves, and sometimes we do have some intolerance.
Sure.
8 things that intolerant people have.
Let me ask you. Let me pose something to you.
No, I'm not a good listener.
I don't. In the word tolerate itself, intolerance means
is toll in the middle right there.
That's right. You can't
and
have
the word 8.
You can't have tolerance without toll. So you're automatically. It's almost still.
You know what toll is backward? Eat a lot.
You're still.
That's almost eat a lot.
You're still setting yourself up almost in a better than position. I'll tolerate you versus the word Ray use of surrender or acceptance.
I'll put up with you. Yeah. All right. They also believe you're in either. They believe you're either in control or out of control. Now, that's something that I believe in my navigation of reality, is that if you're in control of your emotions, if you're in control of your thought process, and you're in control of the things that you say, then you're shaping reality as long as you're choosing the higher self.
But where does it come between I'm choosing this thought process and this behavior and letting go of, but I'm not, the expectation doesn't have to look like I think it would. That's where I can get tied up, or a lot of controllers can, is I have to be in control of all of it. So then there's no surrender. Yeah. There's an expectation. If that expectation doesn't get met,
what are you fighting against? What are you fighting against if you're not surrendering?
To maintain control is what people are fighting for. Because if they feel like if they let go of that, then their lives get out of control.
Is it a possibility because number 7, they can't leave anything to chance? There's a deep-seated belief that if you leave anything to chance, something awful will happen. Murphy's Law. Albert Einstein said the most important decision you will ever make is whether you live in a safe or a dangerous world. For whatever reason, these individuals believe they live in a dangerous world, which justifies their preemptive aggression and hostility towards others because they are believed others are primed to attack them.
I can't believe we're talking about Ohio again.
We're talking about Ohio. We're talking about the military-industrial complex. We're talking about our first world bombing the third world up their camel assholes because we're scared.
I mean, we get the opportunity on our other famous show to discuss people that take risks and things like that. And you'll find, the less people tolerate, the less they have this kind of mindset going. They're the ones that are afraid that they stay in that place. And then they hate on other people. Yeah. They have a lot of anger because it reflects back on them that they're not taking any risks. And it can also reflect back that the world isn't that dangerous a place. But then you also see, why does society so much love it when somebody falls?
Do they ultimately hate us for our freedom, as what's been sold to us on many a bumper sticker?
And I'm talking about Ohio.
Hate us for our freedom?
I'm talking about the Midwest. Just kidding to all our fans out in the Midwest.
Go ahead.
Are you talking about context of this article? Or?
Well, I'm saying because number 8, they are frequently jealous deep down. This is the most interesting observation. Being envious means wanting what another person has. Being jealous means being angry with the person for having it. I feel they think jealous because they're not particularly happy individuals who are frustrated for believing that they are following all the rules, yet they are not in peace. So when they see a couple who is willing to defy so many rules and conventions to find true love and be happy, they are not only envious, they are jealous. Then the writer concludes, when it comes to anyone else's intimate relationship, my philosophy, and I hope how I conduct myself, is to live and let love. Paul Hendricks.
Well, I mean,
Do you agree?
Of course, I agree.
The author, Mark Goulston, a psychiatrist in L.A.
We're brought up in a system that's set up to follow the rules, but the rules aren't set up for us to win. The rules are set up for education system, get a job, get debt,
to control,
right? To keep you indentured, to keep you. Respect authority is one of the first things we're growing up. So once you start questioning that, then all of a sudden I'm playing by these rules that were given to me by whoever they are, and now my life isn't. Why is this person who's taking the risk is doing things that are outside of those rules, and they're finding more peace, more happiness?
A cow enjoying its free will cow autonomy in the middle of a pasture, then loaded onto a truck, taken to a stockyard, led down a fenced path, and then a bolt in the back of the head. Is that any different? Front of the head than any other societal control we have using only words and shared ideals, where the society is set up to be the same cattle car that we set up for the cattle themselves? Am I wrong?
You do what the Jews did. You give up.
No, you don't.
You give up. I'll tell you why. You give up because still some of them made it.
Give up?
Yeah, what does that mean, you give up?
You give up. You give them the sense of...
You're talking about really surrender.
Let me say this.
Wounded knee.
You surrender. You surrender.
Done that too.
Or you give up to the point where you accept the things you can't change.
Okay.
And
the wisdom to know the difference.
And sometimes... that might look like being a bitch.
Good thing Martin Luther King
But I don't
that.
think a lot of people that went to the Holocaust, I don't think they were bitches.
No.
I think they just accepted that which they had to accept.
Sure.
And a lot of that
And even author like
horrific.
a Viktor Frankl found peace inside of the camp. He found the ability that even though his situation, even though how dire and sad and desperate it was, he still was able to find beauty in it.
So let me tell you about
you could only surrender so much.
The illusion really is in that matter is, I think people in the death camps and the Nazi squads are coming to terms with what's inevitable for all of us anyway.
Right.
But when you're faced with it like that, it's something, do I either resist this and I'm in complete misery or surrender? And the reality of it is life is a death
really
camp.
That.
We're always going to die.
You're right.
And I think looking at it that way can bring, if we could look at that now is, I'm not going to live forever in this physical shell that I have.
But there is no death.
There's death of the physical shell.
Yeah.
So that gives if people thought more in those terms, I bet you'd see people that would start speeding their life up a little bit more.
All right,
people that would start going for their dreams a little bit more.
Listen to this, Ray. Don't fucking give it away.
David Eckert drove up to the Walmart parking lot in Deming and was stopped for allegedly driving through a stop sign. Court documents show officers suspected the 53-year-old was hiding drugs in his anal cavity. That traffic stop in January of this year led to a trip to a hospital where doctors gave Eckert anal probes, 3 enemas, 2 body x-rays, and a colonoscopy. Eckert's attorney, Joe Kennedy, says his client was not under arrest and the procedures were done against his will. No drugs were found, and the hospital later sent Eckert a $6,000 bill.
Authorities in Hidalgo County, New Mexico, have settled a lawsuit for $1.6 million for a man who claims they illegally made him undergo colonoscopies and enemas.
Sounds like my date night this weekend.
Is that right? Donna was in there with a couple fingers, making sure you were doing the high and mighty.
She had the handcuffs out.
Now,
She
do
gave
you
the
guys?
Richie Valens, huh?
What is going on in society? Where is this a concerted effort on the? Is just rogue people having a weird Thursday night on a late shift if you're a cop, or is this happening across the country?
There are 6 billion. What is it? 6 billion people in the world.
Yes.
Right now, at this moment, something incredibly stupid is happening.
Of course,
and this is one of those things. This is one of those things where they say to themselves, "This guy has to have drugs in his asshole, so we're gonna give not just 1 anal probe, but 6, and a colonoscopy, and we're gonna waste all this time."
I know where I won't be keeping my drugs from now on.
Guys, they said the suit said Eckert was pulled over for not properly stopping at a stop sign. During the traffic stop, Eckert was quote unquote was avoiding eye contact with me. His left hand began to shake and he stood erect with his legs together. That was enough to say we're going to fucking get in this guy's asshole and root around because he was not giving the eye contact.
Have you ever given yourself an enema? Have you ever
That's
had an
horrible.
enema?
No. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Why, is that a good thing?
Well,
What are you into?
I've had an enema before. I'll be so shocking.
You're so shocking.
I've shot water up my ass to not be constipated. To hold water in your ass.
Yeah.
Is impossible past 5 minutes.
Really?
And they give this guy.
What does it feel like?
It feels amazing. I mean, you know that gunk you got stuck, all that piss,
your colon,
and shit you got stuck on the side of your.
So because
your
I'm
guts,
snorting Smarties through my asshole because I saw it on a YouTube video.
You need to finish
Well,
it
I was
off.
looking for
Eckert was
Ambien.
told he could leave the scene, but before doing so, he consented. to a search of him and his vehicle.
I'm sorry.
During which a canine dog, that's redundant, hit a spot on the driver's seat.
Hit on his butt.
According to the affidavit.
Did the dog do the
However, no drugs were found in the vehicle, so the dog alerted to what could have been a scent where his butthole would have been on the seat. The lawsuit alleged that while Eckert was in custody, he was forced to undergo 3 enemas and a colonoscopy, during which authorities found no drugs. The plaintiff was in custody until 1:30 in the morning. Authorities acted completely outside the bounds of human decency by orchestrating wholly superfluous body activity cavity searches performed by an unethical medical professional. How much money did this fucking guy get? How is this
not enough?
Paul, 1.6 mil. What's that after taxes? And you pay the lawyer $400 to get diddled by 8 cops.
Listen,
that's just horrible.
If
man.
you have one enema, you're done. You're clean.
Is that it?
If you have 3,
Dena,
you're dehydrated yourself.
Dena, get over here and grab the mic. Share a mic with Dena.
To be fair, I couldn't look down on the eyes either after the weekend was over.
Wait, say that again.
I couldn't look down on the eyes after the weekend was over.
Well,
just to be fair.
Why? What did you have Donna do to you?
I was nervous.
What? What do you mean?
There
You were
were enemas
nervous?
involved, and
Dena, have you had an enema? Welcome to
No.
Path Diem.
No, I have not.
Hold the microphone. Don't act
Why?
like. Come on, welcome back.
He said
We've been here recording the lovely Dena back at home with. You look like you've mugged somebody in Star Trek with this shirt on right now.
Wow, one thing I will
love
say
it.
about Dena is she's a lot skinnier looking than your other wife.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
oh my
Holy
God,
moly.
What the
was-
fuck? Are you trying?
How dare you?
What are you trying to get fucking cards and letters sent here to the show? We can't have
That's
that.
what she said to you.
It is.
That
We won't
is
go on that.
that is neither here nor there. How's your day going? Welcome to Path Diem. We're going over shows. Do you know kids are smoking and snorting Smarties, the candy?
Doesn't make them sound so
That's been a
smart
thing
now,
for
does it?
forever.
Wait, shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Ray, have
Really?
her sit on your lap.
Smarties?
Have her sit down. Have her right
No,
there.
you'll just
Put
sit
the
on the
headphones on.
Smarties? I've never heard that before.
Really?
And
What do
I
you-
snorted a lot of things.
Next, you're going to be
It
telling
was
us.
always Pixie Sticks and Smarties.
Pixie
you take
Sticks.
Yeah.
See, you knew it. You're a fucking sicko from way back. Wait, you've known kids who have done this?
I guess so. I just remember
Did
it
you
being
do
a
it?
thing.
How
Like,
old
it
were
was-
you when it was a thing?
I don't know, high school, maybe junior high.
Wow.
Really?
And they're just getting around and reporting it now?
It's a slow news day.
Damn.
Wow. Well, like I said, I feel like it's been forever long gone.
Look, this is what's going on in society. People are being killed with atomic wedgies. Kids are snorting fucking candy. All right. The Obama administration is droning everybody back into the fucking Stone Age, and the NSA is collecting every bit of data. And I've got my cam covered over with a Band-Aid. Because you're not looking at what's going on inside of 4256 Productions until you see the live TV streaming of Disrupt the Illusion. And I want to thank Paulie Hendricks and Ray Combs Jr. and the lovely Dena for joining us fresh in. And let's see what else is going on in our world. Well, I'll tell you what else is going on here as we wind down Episode 3 of Path Diem. Well, what about optimism? And a positive outlook seems to help people stay healthier as they age. The question, negative emotions have been shown to have a detrimental effect on the body. Might positive emotions, feeling happy, satisfied, energized about life, have a good effect? These people, they analyzed the data on 3,200 people 60 and older, including their attitudes on how much they enjoyed life, any problems they had with basic daily functions such as dressing and bathing, and how mobile they were. 21% deemed to have a high level of enjoyment, 56% medium, 23% low. Over an 8-year span, problems with day-to-day tasks generally increased and mobility declined. 4% of those most upbeat about life developed 2 or more functional impairments, compared with 17% of those who enjoyed life the least. Who may be affected? Older people. That's fucking obvious. There's growing evidence that optimistic people not only tend to live longer, but may reap physical benefits as well, allowing them to continue working, volunteering, participating in activities, or doing whatever they deem important. Caveats: whether one's attitude towards life has a comparable effect on younger people is not studied. The researchers noted that they adjusted the data to account for health, age, wealth, and similar issues otherwise might have affected results. You know, in the end, Get a meditation practice. Go on YouTube. Get some Buddhist jams. You get a little medicinal help at the house. You're meditating. You're counting your breaths as you descend into a layer of mental activity where you just manifest greatness. Close your eyes. Look at the saddle on that unicorn as you ride it off into the goodness. Maybe it's a bowl of Jell-O. Maybe it's next month's rent. Maybe it's a project you're finally ready to start. Maybe it's a job you're ready to quit. Maybe you're going to sit at home and make Buddhist meditation music.
We're going to need more triangles.
Anyways, this is Path Diem. Whatever you're doing, just get it going. Because time's running out. Time is running out. And it does keep on slipping. Into the future. Find me at JohnTole.com. Path Diem available at CharlieHodShow.com. Coming soon to Tasty Podcasts. Disrupt the Illusion available at Potaholics.com. I am on Twitter and Facebook at John Tole, JohnTole, at Instagram at Real John Tole. Guys, it's been great. Just breathe through it. That's the point.